Hi everyone, I'm Mia Davis. I'm the head of health and safety at Beautycounter. And I just want to take a minute today to explain what that means and what I do for Beautycounter. So I am in charge of screening all of our chemicals for safety. As you might know, we have several steps to our ingredient selection process. So the first is what we don't use. I created the Never list years ago before Beautycounter even had a name or products to sell. I knew that the Never list was going to be a really important foundation, just the chemicals that we would never ever use in our products. We also don't use the 1,400 or so chemicals that are banned in the European Union. So that's step one, what we don't use. Step two is the ingredient screening process. So this is really what sets us apart from other brands because we are working to substantiate the safety of what we do use. We don't just have a free of or restricted list and call it a day. We're making sure that the ingredients that we do use have been screened or assessed for, its potential link to cancer or reproductive toxicity, skin irritation, organ irritation, and also environmental factors like does it accumulate in the environment, many other health endpoints too. So the ingredient screening process is really intense. It's a lot of work. We've screened over 800 chemicals to date at Beautycounter, which is something to be really proud of. And I work with several different scientists to help me screen every chemical that we even think about using before we determine if it's going to be allowed with restrictions, or just prohibited in our products. The third step of the ingredient selection process is a commitment to re-review data. So, we don't just look once and say, okay, there weren't very many studies on this chemical, let's assume that it's safe and kind of call it a day. We review the data that emerges on chemicals at least quarterly, and we even commission our own studies where there is a huge lack of data, because in this industry, about 80% of the chemicals that are used have little to no safety information at all, which is totally legal. It's legal to bring chemicals to market without any information about them. So we are really walking the walk. We're really doing all that we can to ensure that our products and our ingredients are as safe as possible, and to try to spur market change in doing that. We're not only making safer products now, we're talking to different companies up and down the supply chain about their role in this, because quite frankly, chemical manufacturers should have to make sure that an ingredient is safe before they bring it to us to sell it to us in the first place. And this goes beyond just cosmetics. We feel this way for pretty much every product that we come into contact with in our lives in the United States. So in addition to having a really robust and awesome ingredient selection process that I think sets us apart from other companies, we have an amazing commitment to transparency. So we fully disclose every single ingredient in our products. So no hidden fragrance ingredients, no hidden contaminants, no hidden preservatives. You might be surprised to learn that if a product contains water, so like lotion, shampoo, most of cosmetics out there, it has to have a preservative. And that's because yeast and bacteria and mold love to grow in this stuff. All they need is water and a couple other proteins and nutrients that are in these products, and they can grow like crazy. And not only is that gross, they also present a safety issue too, because some of those things are toxic. So we have to use preservatives. Not just Beautycounter, any company that's using water in their products has to use a preservative. But a lot of companies are buying ingredients that are pre-preserved. So you can buy aloe, for example, that's pre-preserved with parabens or phenoxyethanol or some other preservative, and then not put that preservative on your ingredient label. So if you do this with several ingredients, you buy them pre-preserved, and then you add in a couple of antioxidants and maybe some essential oils that have antimicrobial activity, you might be able to get away with not putting any preservative on your ingredient label. Now, we feel at Beautycounter really differently about using preservatives in skincare versus food. I think people are right to try to avoid preservatives in food and to try to eat, whole foods, fresh foods, whenever possible, over canned or processed foods for lots of reasons. But using a small amount of preservative in cosmetics is actually really important to make sure that the product doesn't go off, and to make sure that we maintain a safety standard and a brand, quality reputation that we need to have. So that's a little bit on preservatives. There's a lot of other issues around transparency that I think are plaguing the cosmetic industry. Companies don't have to test for heavy metal contaminants and mineral makeups, or any colorant makeup for that matter. We test during formulation and every single time we reorder a batch to make sure that we have unbelievably low, like no detect or just background trace levels of heavy metals, because unfortunately you can't be free of all heavy metals. They're kind of everywhere. So we have some really health protective standards that we put in place. Again, not required by law, not something most companies are doing. So I feel really strongly that our product performance and our commitment to safety and screening ingredients for safety, coupled with our full transparency on all ingredients, including where the ingredients are sourced from. So we don't just say, this is from a plant or from a vegetable. We actually tell you this is from non-GMO soy, so that if you have allergies or you're just interested, it's your right to know where that ingredient came from. It's really rare. I think what we're doing is really special, and we hope that we're shaking up the industry and empowering consumers to learn more about their products every single day. Just to wrap up, we're really proud. We think we're doing something really different, and we think that the ingredient selection process and the commitment to transparency completely underscores our larger social mission, which is to get safe products into everyone's hands. And of course, we're not delusional. We don't think everyone will buy beauty counter products. They're not all going to have access to the products. But we're making safer products. That's a huge part of the solution. And we're also working to move the market and to move policy in a more health protective, more transparent, more data-driven way. And that will be our mark. That's how we're shaking things up. So thank you for joining us as a client or as a member or as a consultant. And I hope our paths cross someday. Thanks.